a little bitty impromptu live stream while I work on some painty papers. I'm using my super duper old phone. I don't know why this is a square and not a rectangle, so I'm sorry if you're seeing this all as just a square. Apparently today is the day of the square live stream. Hello and welcome to the square live stream. I am working on mark making, stenciling on some painty papers. So I thought we'd go on for a little bit as long as my internet would allow me to do it. And, I thought we could just hang out. Good morning, Miss Janet. Welcome. Welcome to the party. I'm slowly but surely loading chat on a different device. Hi, Candy. Welcome to the Painty Paper Shenanigans. Hopefully, I can get this stupid thing to load my chat. There's a problem signing into your account. I don't think so. This. Turn this all the way down. All right. We are in business. So I started these ones. I'm using book pages. Crafting with Love. Hello. I used all like repurposed book pages. I wonder if I could zoom out. Think I could zoom out? Do you think that's like a thing? Because you guys are really close. Like you can see all the blemishes on my hands. So, I don't know why it looks so close. Let me see if I can move it without being like, making everyone dizzy. Try that, I guess. So I made these. This is what I started on yesterday afternoon. Painty papers. And I did a whole bunch of page packs with kids' books. So I took the covers and made them into painty covers. And it's a soft cover, so it's not, super sturdy, but you can still make it into a nice little journal cover. Little art journal or glue book or something. I'm sorry if my picture looks weird. I don't know why it looks weird. I haven't streamed through YouTube in a long time. I usually do it through StreamYard, but I didn't do it through StreamYard because I thought StreamYard was a poor quality video. So I guess I was wrong. So this is what I've stenciled on so far. So I am going to grab some more papers that need some stenciling. I love this. I love doing this with the sponge. And the texture of it just feels so nice. I need some coffee. I need some juice. So I gotta find a dark color to do. Maybe I'll do black on this one. I have all my little bottles. I have all my little bottles that are like, here I am moving my hand over here. You can't see what I'm doing. That are just about empty. So I've really been trying to use those up. Maybe I'll use my dark green to try and use it up. No, this one isn't. I do have a natural sponge. I don't know if it's the one I got or if they're all like this, but it's really hard. Like it's not very squishy. I don't think this one is natural. I'm pretty sure this one is like a nylon. But I do have a natural sponge. It just doesn't, it doesn't leave the circles. It doesn't leave the little ringies like a regular old fake sponge does, This is when you are looking for stencils, okay, FYI, I'm just going to throw this out there. Do not be afraid to look in the cake decorating. This is a cake decorating stencil, okay? The designs tend to be more intricate, which is nice, but also not nice because it's harder to clean and they, you'll bend them up on accident and stuff. I've had my share of stencil incidences. But if you're looking for intricate designs, look in the baking. Look in the baking, cake decorating areas, because they have got some great stencils. This one is one of them. I got it, I don't know, I got this online many, many, many years ago. That looks pretty cute, right? That looks okay. And then if I do something else with it, with like another dark color, what dark color could I use? I could put this up in the corner, up here. Maybe I'll finally just get the black out. The sun! The sun is making an appearance. I was told it was going to be cloudy all day today, but I think they might have lied. So what is everyone up to today? What's everybody doing on this wonderful Thursday? I had to think about it. I thought today was Friday for a second. I'm hoping it doesn't rain too bad, because then when I'm done, like, I'll take my stencil and just clean it off this way, right? Is it perfect? No. But it's okay. Ooh, chiropractor. I'll tell you what, my husband feels like $1,000,000 whenever he sees the chiropractor. He usually only lasts about 10 minutes, but he feels good. We just found out he's got some really bad, like, nerve, really weird stuff. He has nerve damage in one of his legs that he had gotten the flu, and then all of a sudden he couldn't drive his car, which was a standard, because he couldn't feel the top of his leg. He lost all feeling. So the doctor at the time, this was in the 90s, they're like, oh, well, it was just a fluke thing, it was just the flu. It just caused it, So he finally is addressing some back pain issues, and he went for some MRIs, and we got in with a neurologist because the MRIs showed a lot of nerve issues. The neurologist told us that his nerves, the way they're behaving, is as if he had a polio type virus. The only issues with nerve is going to that leg, to that muscle on that leg. And she said, it looks like polio to me. She said, this looks like polio. How weird. How weird is that? I was like, wow. Polio in the 90s, or a polio type virus. I mean, that's just really creepy to me. This is one that Vera did. I don't know if she wants me to do anything, but I'll do a pretty design on it for her with the dark green. I'm gonna need some more. So yeah, that was interesting when she said that, because he thought it was from a flu. And I mean, he's had lots of doctors do electro tests, like shock tests on the muscle, and he's baffled some really prestigious doctors out of Massachusetts, and this neurologist is the first one who said it's similar to polio. The other doctors might have been thinking it, but didn't say it out loud because they thought it was so bizarre, as we do. But this woman, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, it definitely could have all been related. Absolutely. It's just really weird, because I'm pretty sure a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, they said polio was completely gone, And I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe not. Maybe not. It might not be completely gone. It might not be. This is some funky, sci-fi type stuff to me. I mean, obviously, he has learned how to live with it. It limits a lot of the things that he can do. It limits a lot of what he can do in the way of physical activity and I mean, he walks and he's fine, and he climbs up on his tractor and stuff like that, but he doesn't trust his leg going up a ladder, which I understand. Stairs, he has to be slow with stairs, which again, you know, that's kind of, you kind of expect that. I gotta scrape this green. I can't tell if that's a paint booger or if that's just, so we gotta scrape that off. We gotta find something to get rid of this booger type material. We're gonna squeeze all the paint out of this paint booger that we can. Okay. But I mean, I could not imagine feeling sick, you know, feeling like you got a virus, going in and going to bed, getting out of bed a few days later, like we typically do, and not being able, just all of a sudden, not being able to feel a part of your body. Just really bizarre. So, yeah, so that's been our magical adventures lately. We are working on our garden, which is going to be nice because we didn't get to put one in last year because I had my gallbladder yanked out at the time of planting, which limited what I could do. But this year we're putting in a nice big fat garden. This is going to totally mud this up, but that's okay. It's a painty paper. It is not meant to look perfect. This is metallic, so it might not show up really good on camera right now, and it might not even show up super good in person. But it'll probably look nice, you know, once it's dried, and just adds a little tiny hint of something. I'm sorry if I'm shaking the camera. I'm over here, like, you know, just slamming down on my table. I promise. This will look nice later, okay? I promise. I promise it's gonna look pretty. Let's get my... where I, my mama cat's in here with me. She's so funny. She's so, like, when I come out here, she comes running to the door. She's like, no, no, not without me. And then if I don't let her in, she puts her front paws up on the window of my door and just stares in here until I open the door. And she'll meow outside the door like, hey, what about me? I thought we were friends. Like, Brian gets mad when she's in here. He's like, you don't want cat hair all over the stuff you're selling. Which she doesn't really come into the stuff where I have all my stuff. She just hangs out like, she hangs out where it's soft. So I have a big bag of clothes in here. Not clothes that I'm selling. Just a bag of clothes that I tried selling at one point in my life. And she's just hanging out on there. She's just hanging out on the big bag of clothes. And that's her spot. She loves those clothes. And then I have a big rag, like, I don't have curtains in here yet. I know. Malia, you're totally slacking. Where the hell are your curtains? I know. But, so, I don't have curtains in here yet. So I have towels that I hang through from my doors because in the winter, I don't want my neighbors looking in here. They're idiots. I don't want them to see anything with intelligence. So, I hang the big towels. So I have another big towel here on the floor that I'll put up in the window. Like if the sun gets really bright in here, my vampire eyes can't handle it. She'll lay on that rag. But she don't lay on any of my... She doesn't really come near any of my stuff. This morning she came in and she sniffed around some of the books I had. They're new in here, you know. They're new smells to her, so... Understandable. You gotta come sniff it out. But she didn't like rub herself on them or anything. She just comes and sniffs them and goes and lays on her pants. She's funny. We have another cat. We have a tomcat. We've got cat drama right now. We have a big tomcat that's been hanging around for a few months. And I think for a while he was attacking my cats or going after them pretty good. But I think my cats kind of like leave him, you know, kind of give him his space when he shows up. And I've been making sure not to give them a ton of food, because then he might not want to come and eat, or he'll stop coming and looking for the food if there's no food to be had. So I've been giving them a little bit of food here and there throughout the day. But he's been coming around, you know, he comes around and he sprays, and it's so, it smells so bad. He like, luckily, I don't think he sprayed on my porch. I think he did a long time ago when we were gone on vacation. I think he was here a lot. He sprays like around the house, and when the smell doesn't linger, but right after he does it, it smells so bad. I'm like, why, buddy? I don't go and pee in your house. Don't go and pee on my house. And like, my walls are not insulated. So the other day he sprayed on the chimney. Like, we have our chimney bases. We had to take our chimneys down a few years ago. So he sprayed on the chimney bases. And you could smell it in my bedroom for like an hour. I was like, this is not good, buddy. This purple. I buy all cheap paints. A lot of them are like repurposed. No, I'm not going to lie. A lot of them are secondhand paints. Some of them just don't show up. So we're going to get a different color and test it. I wish I should like write notes on them, which ones are more translucent than the other. But I don't, because I'm just a sucker for paint punishment. I love these makeup sponges. I'm just going to let you in on a little secret, though, because I learned a lesson with these. I bought a huge package of them at TJ Maxx because I was like, wow, you know, TJ Maxx has got this package of like 25 for $4.99. That is so cheap. Yeah, they don't work for this. They like crumble under the pressures of the paint. So if you buy these types of sponges, just buy the decent ones. If you keep them rinsed, you're not going to, they're going to be fine. Like, if you keep rinsing them, they are going to last you a very long time. Okay. What I want to do on here. I might go around, like, I was, the last time I did a good batch of painting papers, I did some oil pastels, which I plan on doing with these. And I also I went around some of my stencils with, like, glitter pens and stuff. So I might do that again with these. And I remember that because this is one of the stencils that I traced around. And at first I thought that I was going to, you know, I thought it was going to be a tedious thing to go around all of these spots. But it was actually very relaxing. Because some things, like certain Zentangle things, I can't do. It's too tedious for my brain. And I understand where it's therapeutic for some people, because, like, I could sit there and fussy cut for hours. And it's completely, like, therapeutic to me. And then all of a sudden I got this huge stack of images and I'm out of, you know, pages to cut. And I'm like, wow, look at this. And you don't even realize it. But there's some, I can't do some Zentangle. Like, I can't make all the, I could do all the little circles. I like doing that when you fill a space with the little circles. But I don't like to fill in around the circles. That, for some reason, drives me bonkers. I don't know if I don't have my brain in a enough, you know, relaxing state. Maybe I'm still rushing myself without meaning to, you know. But it's just, at this moment in my life, I cannot relax from that. I don't have a lot left, so I'm just kind of slamming it on here, and this one's going to be kind of faded looking. Little faded, still okay. I have homemade stamps too that I could use, if I so please. I'm going to do black. I like this here. I'm going to do this in, ooh, I got this dark blue. Oh no. I have one dark blue that's like really watery. Hear that? And it doesn't come out, it doesn't look very nice. Let's do a test. Oh no, that's pretty dark. That's pretty dark. That'll show up. Okay. Okay, we're good, we're good, we're good. I just gotta check my phone because Brian's helping somebody and you know how that goes. Men and their need to. I'm trying to keep all of my less than half paint bottles in one place so that I can use them all at once. I'm going to use the big sponge, I think. We're going to make this a little textured. I got this stencil a while ago from Dana Yates. Scrappy Dana. She had a live sale and she sold these stencils that she had cut out with her Cricut. See, the big stencil is going to leave a ring around it too, but oh well. And I loved it. I loved that idea, cutting them out with your Cricut. It made me almost want to buy a Cricut. But then I remembered that I don't know what I would do with it. Besides cut out stencils, and how many friggin' stencils can you cut out in your lifetime? You know? That don't look that good. But hey, it's a painty paper, okay? We're going to do other things, and it's going to look just fine. I promise. Just going to squeegee this off a little. But I can take this and do something else with it, like on this one, because now I got a ton of paint on here, so I could just... My oldest is in 5th grade, and she's going to be in middle school next year. And I'm not going to lie, this mama is not okay. It is hard. This is rough sledding. But I know I have to let her, you know, spread her wings and start becoming her own little person. So I just like having her right down the road right here, you know. The elementary school is literally 4 miles from my house, which if you live out in the country, that means we're pretty much neighbors. So, you know, I just like knowing that she's right there. But I know, I gotta let her grow. I have to let her do her thing. Now, when you do painty papers, and I try and remind people of this all the time, like whenever I make a video doing painty papers, I don't do a painty paper for the whole sheet, okay? I don't look at it as a whole to use the whole sheet of paper for something. I do it in pieces. Sometimes I end up getting a beautiful sheet that the whole sheet is gorgeous, and that's like, woohoo, I win. But I usually cut my papers up in some way, or, you know, or use them as a background where they're not, you're not looking at it as a whole entity of its own. So just keep that in mind when you're making painty papers, that when you get one sheet that might look a little funky to you, it's perfectly okay, because you're not going to use, you don't have to use the entire page for something. When I first started doing painty papers, oh my god, I was doing front and back of all the pages. You know how hard that is to decide what you want to do when you're doing the front and back? And you're like, oh, this side looks really nice, but this side looks really nice, but this side looks really nice. It's very emotionally taxing. Trying to find something like this. I kind of like this though with the light colors. Some of them, sometimes you don't want to Then like I have this. I got really into using this brownish color, and I was trying to mix it with other colors to see, like, you know, to see what it would do. And some of them look kind of weird, so, you know. So we're going to make blue vines. Blue viney leafy things on this weird brown, red, light colored background. Whatever that color is. It might be white, or it might be one of those blues that looks like it's white. This is not gonna, this blue paint, the rest of this blue paint is not gonna last me the whole thing though, so, but that's okay. We're gonna have it like a fade. We're gonna just fade. I don't know if you're not chatting or if my chat is not working. I mean, I don't care if you're not saying anything. I'll sit here and talk to myself. I'm good at that. If you watch my videos. If you watch my videos, I'm really good at blabbing. Hello? SEM. Do I know you? Are you a new person to this stream? Not like I stream all the time. Oh, hello, Tracy. Your painty paper spidey senses went off, didn't they? And you're like, oh, I smell painty papers. I gotta go look on the YouTubes. Oh, how is that beautiful kitten of yours, Tracy? Shelly showed me some pictures, and oh my lord, what a beautiful little critter. You're very lucky. Yes, today you get to see me stream, which is not a very common occurrence, mainly due to technological crappiness, but also because I usually get interrupted 385 times when I'm trying to do something, so. Get rid of these paint boogers. I should probably clean off my paint palette because like it's to the point where I can't actually get to the paint anymore in these grooves. Right? All right, we're gonna, let me think, what other colors do I want to use? Let's grab. So I tried really hard not to have paint get in the inside of these kids' book covers, but you can't really avoid it. So I got a little bit. Oh yes, yeah, you could. Yeah, sometimes you get climbers. Sometimes there's no curtain that is safe. Like, but she is beautiful. I mean, what a beautiful cat. I said to Shelly, I was like, that's like the model, you know. She looks like AI. I mean, she looks fake. That's how pretty she is. Yes, I have cats. My cats are outdoors because I suffer from pretty bad allergies, but they are very well cared for, okay? And they have places to go to be warm, and they are very smart cats when it comes to keeping themselves out of trouble. One of my cats, the baby, I have a mama and I have the baby. Their names are Mama and Floof. The baby Floof just turned 5. She was born at the beginning of the pandemic, which was, you know, that made it so much fun because my girls were young at the time and they got to experience, you know, having little bitty kittens around, you know. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm allergic to dogs too. And, you know, I did have animals in my house for a long time, but was getting sick. You know, my allergies would turn into like a cold, and it was happening to me like once or twice a month. So I said, you know what? This is way too much. If I could finally get myself approved for some allergy shots, it would be a different ball game. but I seem to not be able to because they won't do the test on me because of asthma. So, and I mean, like, I didn't even realize I had asthma that bad. So I was like, wow, this is new. But yeah, I know, tiny kittens. I loved having the kittens, but it started getting just really gross when they started peeing on my porch. I'm like, you know what? Like, and then not only that, we had these kittens, and we also had a big cicada hatch. It was like the 17-year cicadas hatched. So Mama Cat was going and getting cicadas out of the woods for her babies. And I was collecting the wings because they wouldn't eat the wings. They would just eat the bodies. So I have a little jar full of wings. And there's supposed to be another hatch this year. So I'm hoping that my mama cat gets into the cicada thing again. She's not going to have any more babies. We had both of them fixed because I don't know how cats find their way. I know male cats can smell a female in heat. And it's like as soon as my cat was having kittens, she'd be pregnant again. So I'm like, no, we can't be doing this. Yeah, that's why I saved them. I have them in a little jar. I saved a whole bunch of them. So hopefully I get more this year. And they're like really nice looking wings. Like they look fake. If you've ever seen cicada, look at its wings. They're really neat looking. They look fake. They look very fake. Oh, did I just hear a car door? I don't want anybody here. Although I am expecting cat food to be delivered today, so that I do want. I don't think I had much left. I didn't have much left on here. So yeah, the wings were super cool. Super duper duper. Maybe I'll put some pink on this brown. Yeah, it is a really pretty color. I kind of just like I really just got into the groove of throwing paint on things yesterday. Mainly because I harvested a bunch of books and I don't want to throw the pages out that I don't use, so I turn them into painty papers. And trust me, I have no shortage of papers to turn into painty papers. I even have some flyers. I like to turn flyers into painty papers because flyer paper is very thin. And then when you start putting layers of paint on it, it thickens, but it doesn't thicken like you would think. It doesn't thicken like it's a traditional piece of paper that you're gluing stuff on. It thickens, but it's still very bendable and malleable. So I really like painting on flyer paper. And then this one, I don't think I'm going to do anything to this one. If I did, it would be like little tiny black embellishment somewhere, but I really like this. I really like how this came out. So I think that one is going to be called Done. And I also like this one too. Maybe some of the splatter ones. This is like when my paint's running out and I put a little bit of water in it. That's what comes out. This one I'll do though, because the purple didn't really splatter nicely. So we will add something. What can we add? We can add some of these. Oh yes, bubbles. Maybe I'll do that this afternoon when Vera gets out of school, because Vera has been helping me. She's been really into the painty papers until yesterday when she decided instead she wanted to pour paint on my palette and just paint my palette. I said, honey, we can't just do that. I said, I think you're all done with the painting, the painty papers. I said, you can go outside and play. So she did. I was like, it doesn't work that way. I was like, you're not going to just use, and she was using like my good paints. She was using, you know, my color shift and the paints that I call, you know, bougie. So yeah, no, you're not going to. So this is the palette. She went and she painted, like she just kept painting, putting layers of paint on there. I was like, okay, we're all done. Thank you. Have a good day. Maybe I'll do a little bit of gray. Who else's does this? Who else's paint bottles does this? You know, I've got a whole bunch of paint bottles that have sucked in. And I know you could be like, oh, well, you know, it's an old paint. Yeah, but I have some new ones that I haven't even opened yet that also do it. So I don't understand why. The bougie paints, yes. You know, those are like special occasion. That's for like special occasion painty papers. You know? This one's really, really chunky. I'm really disappointed at how long paint doesn't last these days. Really disappointed. Because these cheap apple barrel paints used to last a long frickin' time. I have some in here from the 90s. I have some from the 90s. You want to see one from the 90s? I can't. All my painty papers are on top of it. But you're going to have to take my word for it. You're just going to have to. Here, right here. 90s. This one's brand new. Ooh, yes. Drippy stain. Yes. That's an idea. And all of my stencils are cheap stencils. Okay. They are all cheap. Oh, here's my husband. He's coming in. Hi. I'm on live. How did it go? Did you come up with a plan?
Saturday morning. Gotta take the baseboard off from underneath the step
Yeah.
on the edge of the house, and I don't want to open it up with all the rain. So he's gonna get. It needs a new board there. The one she wanted to change. He's gonna get a new board for that today, tomorrow, and then. And the reason is the deck goes under that board.
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to line it up and stripe it in like we have to because of how screwy it is right there. That board's in the way, and I don't want to take it off with the rain coming.
No, yeah.
And she wanted to change it anyway, so we'll throw the cable saw in the back of the trailer Saturday morning and the tools in the back of the car. Won't be but an hour or so over there.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. I know, it's so funny. It's so funny because everybody's like, where are you from? Gonna throw the table saw in the back of the car. In the back of the car. We have one friend that's like obsessed with his accent. She is obsessed with his accent. She just could listen to him yap all day. And he will. He'll yap all day long. He is a talker. Grateful because sometimes I am not a talker. I know that you wouldn't believe that listening to me yap on here, but I promise, I get tired of it. I get tired of yapping. I like putting gray on things, over things, and I like putting beiges, like a stencil of beige on things. I'm gonna have to bring some snacks down here, I think. I'm a fat kid and I want to eat. And I had something to eat like 4 hours ago now. So my stomach is yelling, so you might hear my stomach. You might hear my stomach yell. What's really funny is like his accent is so thick and he understands some of these southern accents better than I do. I'm like, how do you? I'm like, you can't even talk. You have an accent and you understand these people better than me. Because some of the southern accents, as everybody knows, you know, who's ever heard a southern accent, they can get pretty strong. So, yeah. I really like how this one came out like it is too, but I'll do some of these. Or dark purple. We'll do dark purple. Some dark purpleness. And again, the cheapness of the paintiness. It's really a big difference. It's really a big difference in quality from... They must do that on purpose because folk art makes the cheap paint. Okay? The big companies make the cheap paint. So I don't understand why they have to make some so bad. I give anybody credit who learns English as a second language because English is an awful language, and growing up everyone's like English is the hardest language, and when you're a kid learning English you're like, no it's not, I talk just fine, I speak it just fine. But now that I have kids and I'm trying to explain the concepts of grammar, it's really rough. Okay, like my daughter's like, why? Like, give, for instance. We were going over the word give yesterday. She said, why? Why isn't it give? I said, honey, that's a question for the gods. You're going to have to wait until you reach heaven and you can speak to one of the original English creators. French. Me and my oldest are going to learn Spanish this summer. I know some Spanish. I know just enough to get myself in trouble. But if you don't use it, you lose it. So I'm thinking that if we learn it together, we can speak in Spanish together. And then in America, that gives you a one-up on employment and stuff because a lot of places want bilingual. So that will be good for her in the future. And I mean, I could always, you know, you never know. I might have to go get myself a job somewhere, and being bilingual will be very helpful to do that. Oh yeah, I know bad words in a lot of languages. Like, probably like not something to be proud of, but I do. I know a lot of bad words. I like this tree, and I want to do compliments the weirdness of this. A bunch that are like this pastel-y looking, because again, trying to use up paint, trying to use some of my just about empty bottles of paint. So that's what happens. What color? Maybe, do I want to use a green maybe? If I want to use a green, I've got to dig for a green. Let's see. I like this. I wonder if this one would work nicely. I grew up in a town where a lot of Hispanic people had begun moving into, like, through the 90s. So I did become, like, conversational in Spanish. And obviously, you know, you learn the bad words. But I never really thought, and then I took, you know, the language course in high school. I took a couple. I learned Spanish. I had one Spanish professor who was German, from Germany. He said that Americans are pumpkins on sticks. We look like pumpkins on sticks. That's what he said about Americans. And then I had a Spanish teacher who was Jewish. Very, very Jewish. So that was all very interesting. Yeah, I really like it, but it's a cheapo one, so it's like really flimsy wood grain stencil. This is like a China special here. Yeah, he's not from Spain though. He's I don't know. I think he's from the US, but he's like really really Jewish. And I don't know where. I never really got into a conversation with him. I don't know why he got into the Spanish, how he got into it. But like the German professor I had, he got into it because he was originally from Argentina. Oh, that looks really cool because it looks like this is a similar, that looks cool. Okay, I'm happy with that. He was originally from Argentina but grew up, spent most of his life in Germany. So you're like, oh, okay, Like even his name was Guillermo, which, is a very Hispanic name. But yeah, I just thought it was strange. I have these foreign Spanish teachers. I'm like, okay. And not Spanish foreign. It's funny. It's funny how people, like, you wouldn't look at Spain and think Jewish, No, this was a different professor, not the Jewish one. The Jewish one was okay. I had a hard time learning from both of them, to be honest. So that's why I'm going to take the language like on my own. And I don't know if it's the curriculum or the way they teach, the way they were teaching it. I have no idea, but I had a difficult time with Spanish, learning it. I learned it better when I was a student at a middle school. I moved around a lot when I was in middle school, and one of the schools for a little short period of time, I did have Spanish, and I didn't learn a ton, but I did learn some stuff. And a lot of what I learned, which is very similar to English when you think about it, I learned it from learning their nursery rhymes. The months and the days of the week and colors and stuff like that. There's songs about all of that. So that made it very easy for me when I was in 6th or 7th grade and learning Spanish. The textbook stuff, I don't know, maybe it's just me because I'm not a textbook person, but that was difficult. Maybe it's just that way. But we're going to do like Babbel or one of those things that teaches you through conversation as opposed to grammar. And then I'll worry about the grammar stuff after. But yeah, so that's all my language experience. That's all my foreignness, man. I'm going to do this with like darker color here. There are a lot of irregularities in all of those languages, like Italian similar, French is similar. There's a lot of, and there's a lot, I mean, I guess it's the same way with English too, but a lot of different words for the same stuff. And you have to know which context to use which word. Oh, Duolingo. That's a good idea. I should do that. I should do that with her. Because that might be more interesting for her. I just think it's going to be fun that her and I could like tell each other secrets right there in front of everybody. Because we'll be talking in Spanish. Yeah, that's what I figured. Like if I don't start with a book, and if I start with using the language and then worry about You know, because, for instance, we have a heavy population of Mexicans in my area due to farming. Okay. So I'm sure that most of those Mexicans who speak English, who speak broken English, are not practicing the grammar side of the language. Okay. Because these guys are out working on farms every day. So I'm sure that they're not spending their downtime trying to figure out the grammar that they may never need. You know, so why would I start with Spanish grammar? You know, when my main concern for now would just be speaking the language. You know, I think I'm going to leave that wood grain one. I really like that just the way it is. Yes, and my kids do know some sign language. They have learned during COVID. Actually, we did a lot of YouTube lessons. Um, Thanks for coming, Candy. Good luck. I hope you feel like $1,000,000 after the chiropractor. Um, we had to do a lot of YouTube lessons for school. And some of the stuff that I chose for her to do was like sign language and stuff like that. So there is some stuff she knows, and she knows a lot of the alphabet. You know, she knows a lot of that stuff. So hopefully she can continue to use it in her life and go further with it, because I mean, that's a whole demographic of people that cannot communicate with, they hardly communicate with anybody at all. You know, there's a very small population of people that know sign language. So I do think it's important so that you're able to connect with these people that have very little connection with the world through communication. Hello, Stephanie. I'm going to ask you again because it's been all over the news. I hope that you're not being blown away by these floods, because they've been talking about Kentucky specifically a whole bunch. And I think to myself, oh boy, I hope that Stephanie isn't getting bombarded with all this water. We had so much rain the other day. We had some flash flooding around here. We got like 2 or 3 inches of rain in just a few, you know, on Monday. Between like 9 and 6 o'clock at night. It was really a lot of rain. A lot of rain that did not absorb quickly into the ground. And in case anyone's wondering, all of my stencils are from China. They're cheap. You can buy a lot. I have been seeing lately, there's a lot of cheap stencil packs on Amazon that will be a great start for this, to just do painty papers with just texture looking, you know, designy looking things. This right here, I'm going to tell you right now, Martha Stewart is my favorite paint. Martha Stewart is my favorite paint. Okay? Because the colors are so rich. So rich. I'm going to put a little bit of white in with this. Like this here is a pearlescent, and it is incredible. I love her paint, and she doesn't make it anymore. So whenever I can, whenever I find it secondhand, I get it. Okay, that white just poured out like water, so this is gonna be a good mix. So yeah, get you some Martha Stewart paints anytime you see them. They are incredible. Like, I have some Martha Stewart paints that have a little itty bitty teeny weeny left in it, and I'm not kidding. I'm like saving it for special occasion painty papers. Those aren't gonna just be any old painty papers. Well, at least you're on some high ground now. If you didn't get flooded. I mean, holy crap. I ordered some books from a guy in Tennessee, and the post office, I get a notification from the post office that my package is out for delivery. Then I get a refund from the guy, and I messaged him on eBay and I said, hey, what the hell? You know, I'm saying, it says I got a package out, and you just refunded me. And he's in Kentucky. I'm sorry. No, he's in Tennessee. He's in Tennessee. And his shed, the building that he keeps his books in, had started flooding. So the two of the books that I ordered, which were the two that I wanted, were destroyed. And then his entire shed ended up destroyed. His entire shed ended up coming apart. So he ended up sending me two of the books anyway, which I thought was like really nice. I was like, holy crap, you know, you did not have to do that. You know, you didn't have to pay for the shipping to send them to me, you know, but I thought it was really nice. But yeah, I felt really bad. He kind of got screwed. Yeah, the swampy backyard that's always fun. That's why, like, I would love to buy some property on the river over here, or with river somewhere near my property. But man, when we get, like, when a hurricane does come through here, we don't usually have wind damage. We don't usually have tornadoes and storms and stuff, but we will get rain. And we had one storm a few years back where we got 10 inches of rain over the course of like 24 hours. And it was really rough. This thing is so funny. My phone's like, oh, you have like 5 seconds of battery left because this phone's 100 years old. I gotta get another device for chat. Bring another phone down here or something. Yeah, and it's so funny how fast the river will go down after it floods. Sorry, I'm trying to set myself up here so I can read chat. It was probably 2017 or 2018 that we got the 10 inches of rain. It came in through my chimney because of the way the wind was blowing, and I had water all over my floors. And Vera was a baby, and so it was 2018. She was in her little jumper thing, right? In the little bouncer that you put in the door frame. And at first I thought she had thrown up. So I hurry up and get her out and get her cleaned up. And I'm like checking her out to make sure that she was okay, because she had no reason to throw up. And then I looked, and the water was everywhere. I was like, oh boy. So yeah, I went through a lot of towels over those few days. Over those few hurricane days. There was a lot of messages. Messiness. Had a lot of cleaning up to do. We did not lose power though. I made a hurricane glue book. That's when I made my hurricane glue book, was during that time. I spent like 3 or 4 days just gluing my hurricane glue book. May it rest in peace. It no longer lives. It is deceased. It got flooded. What are the odds of that? We have had flooding, and then my glue book gets flooded. Back when I didn't realize that the tote I had it in leaked through the top. So the water went in the tote in my ice cream truck because of how the angle of the truck, and the tote was up against the window. So yeah, that was a thing. It was a whole situation. So I had to throw it out. But I'm very grateful that I have a flip through on YouTube of it. So the sound doesn't work on the video, but there's a video of it. Because I want to be able to remember all my art. you know, I want to keep everything. I want to have a memory of everything I make. And like tomorrow's gonna rain. It's supposed to just be rainy. Rainy, rainy, rainy. Alright, what color am I going to put down on this? What do we have here? What do we have? Maybe a dark blue. I have this blue, which is very old. This is a vintage. My vintage paints from the 90s. I wish they had dates. Oh, this is... Oh, no, from 2014. Not quite. It ain't quite vintage yet. It's getting there, though. Am I buffering for real? Am I buffering? Am I, or is it? No, it's my phone. It's because I'm sucking up internet. You know, I have lousy internet on one device, and I'm not using internet when I'm streaming on. Oh my God. When Helene went through Western North Carolina, I watched a video of somebody had like a video on one of the main, not, I don't think it was a main bridge, but it was a bridge on a road. I don't think it was like a very popular road. And it showed tractor trailer trailers. There was like 3 of them just floating down the river, wiped this bridge right out. I was like, holy cow. But I saw videos out your way of like people's buildings. I don't know if it was a house. It looked like a house, but I guess it could have been one of those nice sheds like the one I have here. In pieces, like it was in pieces, just floating down the river. I'm like, holy cow. But yeah, those tractor trailers, they floated down the bridge, took out 2 or 3 big trees too. Took out the bridge. It was like total bombardment. But I'm sure the fish are going to eat good if it was from a restaurant. The fish are going to have some good food. Catfish. The catfish will taste like fried catfish. Because that's probably what they'll eat. Catfish will eat anything, I think. I love doing this. I love the way the stenciling looks on these. Like it just does something to me. I gotta grab another stencil. How do you people store your stencils? Okay, let's take a survey here. Because I got this big ass binder and it's a real pain. I mean, it's the easiest way I could think of. Okay. It is the easiest way I could think of to be able to see what I have for the most part, but it's still a pain in the ass. Okay, it is not easy. Because they still do get tangled. I mean, I guess I could do 2 binders, right? Because I got some big 4-inch spine binders. Yeah, not all of my stencils are in there either. Like I have some that are in packages that I try and keep in the package, you know, like I try not to, I don't know what I try to do. Okay. I don't know what I'm trying to justify here. It's a mess. Oh, like hanging. Yeah, because I have big ones too, but because this binder is so large, I keep the big ones binder clipped to the inside. But it's rough. Like, so I take a whole bunch of stencils out, and there's no organization. It's just wherever they fit is where they go. Which I guess, you know, how do you organize this? Like, oh, you know, well, this one has long, skinny holes, so this can go in the long, skinny hole section. No, it doesn't work that way. So I guess you can't really organize stencils unless you organize it from designs and things, and maybe letters. Like, I got some letters. Some people that have like nice fancy carousels with all the little clippy doodahs, that would be nice, but I'd need one like twice the size of this room. because I've got a lot of stencils, because I bought, like, you know, packages with a whole bunch of those little ones, you know, those packages that come with like 24 small stencils. I got a bunch at Walmart years ago, before AliExpress really became, you know, the place to go for random craft stuff. And it was a pack of 24 designy stencils. And they weren't big. They're like, you know, 4x5 over here. They're small. And it's just a real pain. Storage of anything. Like, I'm trying to figure out a better storage for my paints. I've put them in totes, little shoe boxes, by color, which has made it easier. Okay, so like I've got reds and purples are right here. And then I have one tote where I have all new ones that I'm not opening yet because, you know, I replace them. So all the replacements are in a tote that I'm not going to touch until I'm ready for the color. And then I have the rest of them organized by color. And then I have a tote that's just the ones that are almost empty. Yeah, they just end up in a pile. Like I had the binder out, so I specifically remember to put them away, or else they're going to be shoved on the edge of my shelf over here with the rest of my crap that I have to find a home for. You know, like, there's no winning. There's no winning in the craft organization. They need to get better at craft organization methods, okay? People on the internet, take note. Give me some organizing ideas. Start racking your brains. All you people who make these organizing videos. I like to do these like wonky doobus. But I just get sick of it. I just get sick of trying to think of how to organize ways to make it, to streamline a process, because I like to do things in bulk. So like I like to make my painting papers in bulk. But it's so hard. It's so hard to try and think of a way to make it work, you know? It's just it's very difficult. Trying to make things go a certain way. Do I want to use pink? Sure, pink. No. It doesn't. The cute organized rooms that you see that are like white, and they've got like these great countertops and tables and shelves where everything's color coordinated. I don't think those people actually craft. I think they just have like countertops and shelving, and they just leave it there. I mean, you're not going to tell me that they're not the mad scientists like we are. You know, this color is very, very translucent-y, so it would look fine like this. You know, like we're like savage artists where we just run wild and crazy processes. These people are like, oh, fancy do. I'm going to cut my quilt squares with this fancy cutter mabobber, and then I'm going to put things right back away where they belong. Who does that? Who puts things away? Like, who puts things away when you're not forced to put them away? Come on now. Okay, that's from back when we were kids. When were forced to clean your room. Okay, you didn't just go and clean your room like a friggin' normal person. You had to be threatened and yelled at, and things had to be taken away, and you can't talk on the phone today because you're cleaning your room, you know? I mean, we weren't... Come on. Where are those people? Where are those crafty people? Where are their organization tips? I know. And some of them are like just, I can't pay attention to what they're talking about because I'm too busy wondering how they keep the room so clean. You know? I'm like, I'm sorry. I can't listen to you. You have to explain to me your thought process here. I need to know your creative process because I don't know how to be I don't have a clean creative process. My creative process is total anarchy. And I just need to know how you have such a clean creative process. Oh, flying paint. I mean, if I did a tour of this building right now, there's a tiny little walkway to get out of the building. I do have this door. I got 2 doors in here. And this door right now has nothing in front of it. I'm very fortunate. So if I light something on fire in here and decide to burn it down, I do have an exit where I don't have to go through an obstacle course. But on the regular, I'm walking through an obstacle course every time I'm in here. And I start cleaning, right? Like I start putting things away and finding homes and listing things on Etsy and whatever on my website. And I start the cleaning. And then more things will show up in this space. I'm like, where? Where did this come from? Yeah, that's my whole life. I'm like this short little fat parkour person. Okay? That's what I'm like. I have to do short fat parkour. It's so funny because my kids showed me this reel one time. I don't remember what it was. It might have been on YouTube. I don't remember. And it was like a little person, okay, that was fat. And he was like jumping on different things, like different curves and stuff. And every time he did, he was like, parkour. It was adorable. Okay, I'm not insulting anybody in any of those categories that I just mentioned, but it was adorable. No, I have not gone into a thrift store. I have not been in a thrift store in a very long time. I've been to the auction. Okay? That's the difference. There's a difference. No, I haven't been buying a whole lot at the auction because I got all of these books for this woman. Oh my God. When the opportunity comes, you have to take it. And I bought a bunch of National Geographics from a woman, and she was cleaning out a house, her mother-in-law's house, and they had a basement full of books. Okay? So she said, you take whatever you want. So we went back the next day to take the books. So my building, which I already said, I told the universe, I don't want things right now. Okay? So don't put any things in my way. And what does it do? Puts all the things my way. Okay, my message was very misconstrued somewhere in translation. So I end up with all those books. And ever since then, it's been like these deals that I just can't pass up. Like I just can't not go get. And it's been madness. It's just been really bad. It's been really bad. But I haven't been buying. I got a couple things at the auction yesterday because of one book. I got a lot of books for one book. And the rest of them I'm gonna put a bunch in the little library, and then the rest of them are gonna go wherever I decide they go. And I bought a filing box, from there. But I haven't been buying from the auction really at all because I don't have anywhere to put the stuff. And they haven't had anything really good. And more people have been buying from them, so the things that I think are only worth a few bucks have been going up in price like insane amounts. Yeah, it's definitely a test from the universe. Like, the universe is like, let's see just how much we could fit in this little 12 by 24 shack you got here. You know? I'm some kind of guinea pig for some kind of experiment of how much stuff can a person have before they're actually considered a hoarder. I don't hoard it. I try to get rid of it. Like I decided I'm going to go through my storage over the next few days and start putting together some linen and fabric bundles because I'm not going to use all that. I have totes of fabric and I don't really sew a ton. Okay. I would like to start, but I don't have the time. Okay. And I need the space more than I need the sewing. You know. So I'm going to sell some fabric and some linens. And try and go through and clean out my hordes of stuff. I have to do it. Like, it's gotta be emptied out. I just have too much things. I should go through my beads. Are you interested in beads? Because I got them, man. What kind of beads you want? I got shells. I've got wood. I got really nice acrylic type beads. I got plastic. I got tons of seed beads. I got beads, man. And I could totally put together some kits with beads. Always wanting beads. Well, I'll go through my beads for you. I got to get rid of some beads. I got to get rid of some stuff. You know, there's only so much a person can have before, you know, before I'm officially a fire hazard. I mean, I'm pushing it here. I'm pretty much fire hazard over here. Like, if the fire department showed up, I'd probably get lectured pretty good. I'm going to finally use some black paint. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this black paint is. Acrylic paint. This is called charcoal. It might be totally separated. I have no idea. No, but it's cute. It's a nice gray color. Someone's revving an engine somewhere. It's not me, I promise. I don't have that many sheets left to go. It's so funny too, because like whenever beads come up at the auction, people bid on them like super insane amounts of money, right? And it's like not even, they're Walmart beads, you know, they're not even anything special or rare, you know. I understand when the costume jewelry goes for a lot because those beads are usually pretty nice. You know, when you take apart the costume jewelry, like I'll take apart a lot of costume jewelry, and some of the beads are trash and some of them are really nice. I'll bid on costume jewelry if it's got enough of what I'm looking for. But man, I cannot believe the amount that people bid up on the beads at the frickin' auction. I'm like, this is just crap. That woman too, when I went to get all those books from her, she gave my kids like a whole bunch of jewelry. So, and it ain't stuff. They ain't gonna wear all this crap. They ain't gonna wear shells. You know. Oh, here goes the idiot in her diesel. Going to do some big farm stuff. Big farm girl in her big farm truck. Man, they're dumb. These people are just dumb. Like, he was using his wood chipper the other day. So it's a cheesy little wood chipper. While drinking, okay? He was drinking. And he was shoving his whole arm down the chute. We're like, how many beers does it take before... Ooh, sorry. Earthquake. How many beers does it take before you take off a limb? With the wood chipper. Before the wood chipper chips you. How many beers? How many beers do you need to drink before you become one with the chips? With the chippies? Unfortunately, he still has all of his limbs, as far as I know. I haven't seen him up close, so he might be missing limbs. I don't know. Let's see. What can I do on this? I want some kind of a color. And then I'll go on these papers after, and I will put like metallic streaks and glitter if I want. Sometimes I have the girl do that. Like, I have Vera really likes to paint with glitter. And my color shifts, obviously. So I might, you know, I would have her do something cute. How about a glossy pink? I bought this paint here a long time ago. I bought a case of the glossy enamels that you're supposed to be able to use on anything. So they have like a little bit of odor. But I just spoiler alert, they don't really work on every single thing. You're supposed to be able to use it on glass and ceramic and everything, but it's not. It's not like Rust-Oleum. Okay. Like Rust-Oleum you can really use on anything, but Rust-Oleum is a spray paint. You know, you have to buy the spray paint. You can buy their candy enamel, I guess, in mixed colors. The only thing I've ever used their candy enamel stuff for is on metal or glass and stuff that I need white, because white is a common color. But yeah. So it does, they have a little bit of an odor, but it's not an odor that lingers, like it's gone shortly after. Yes, glitter. Vera May is my little glitter bug. She puts all my glitter down for me. Maybe I'll have her do that this afternoon. She'll get a kick out of that. Do all my glittering. Be my little glitter fairy. I know I said I wasn't going to do anything to this one, but you got to add a little something sometimes. Sometimes that's got to be this weird pattern remnants, paint remnants off of this weird pattern stencil. What haven't I used? I've used them all, I think. Have I? Have I used all these stencils that I took out? I guess so. This was one of those stencils I got from that kid at Walmart. Oh, yeah. Yes. This, and like the good thing about this is like more than one piece of paper. You know, you cut that. You cut that shit up, man. Yes. That's not going to show up. That is not open yet. Yes. I got a whole box of these drop papers, actually, to cut up. I like to die cut them. I like to use them for everything. I usually do these double-sided. I will usually use my drop papers twice. The last one I had a hard time with, though, because it really crinkled up on me. It was really hard. But sometimes, you know, like if that happens, you just tape the edges. And I just didn't tape the edges this time because I was making some shorts for TikTok, so I wanted a clean sheet. So this was clean day before yesterday when I started this madness. Hello, Shelly. I decided to do this little impromptu thing because I could. Because I could. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why. I could do it, so I did. She said she could, so she did. That's where I'm at today. I like that. I like that. See, I've got all these papers and I'm like, I don't want to add anything else too. I'll add a little bit to this though, down at the bottom here. A little bit of purple. I mean, you have to seize the opportunity when you can do a live stream, you know? It's not every day. It's not every day I could do a live stream doing painty papers. Most of the time, like, I'm doing boring stuff. Like, I don't think people want to watch me dismantle kids' books. You know? If it was interesting, if I thought people would like it, I would do it. But I don't think that people would enjoy that as much. You know? I know, they really will. Like, some videos, some things I don't understand why people like it so much. I just don't. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I make magazine harvest videos, but I do not watch magazine harvest videos. Mainly because I have enough of my own magazines to harvest. I don't need to live vicariously through other people's harvests. And if you do have to do that, hey, you know what? No judgment here. I'm just saying that I don't. So I don't watch it. There's a very few people whose magazine harvest videos I do watch, and the only reason I watch them is because they explain the creative process of their harvest. Okay? Which I do. I try and do that too. You know, I try and explain what I'm doing, what I would do with it, or where it would look good, or the kind of application for the thing. But it's just not something that I watch. Yes, yes. Yes, there is a standard of the type of art that you should be doing on YouTube. There is like an unwritten rule about how you should approach your art on YouTube, I think, personally. Yes, some people do listening for the tearing sound. And I should do some ASMR like shorts, you know, for that reason, but I'm too busy flapping my mouth, so you know, you can get the ASMR with my voice. Lillian and I have been finding these reels of ASMR video that people make fun of ASMR. Oh my god, it's so funny. We found one the other day that was ASMR Godzilla, and he's, you know, ravaging a town, obviously. And he goes, I'm just gonna lick this building. Like, all of these weird mouth noises, because people listen to that on the ASMR stuff. It was so funny. ASMR Godzilla. I was like, this is just... Oh, you like the tapping? My weird ASMR? I like the crinkly paper ASMR. I guess if I did, you know, if I took apart books, it would be cool for the crinkly paper sounds, you know? That I would like. Crinkly ASMR. I'm liking this for a book cover. I don't know what kind. Ooh, I could do my spring journal with one of these. Because I'm going to make a spring. Who was I watching that convinced me to do? I think it was Amy the other night. I was watching Amy from the Art Asylum. She changed her name. Her name used to be Hags Hollow. And she changed her name to the Art Asylum, which I thought was like super cool name switch. That's like really, it's like a really neat name. And she was talking about a summer doing a summer journal. I was like, maybe I'll do a spring/summer journal. It'll be like a general nice weather journal. That's too much darkness on there for this. What about on this one? Nope, too much going on. Too much going on. Let's grab another one. Ooh, I'll put some on one of Vera's. This is another one of Vera's Painty papers. So we'll just add a little bit of schmoozy on here. And again, I said this at the beginning. When you're looking for stencils, look in the cake decorating. This is a cake decorating stencil. I mean, it's from China, okay? But it was from the cake decorating section of the China. I can't do the mouth noises. Like, when they're doing the slurping and the chewing noises, that's just really weird. And my kids got really into watching people eating candy for a while. And it was just really weird because they'd watch these Pop Rocks and these weird crunchy things. You know, I'm like, I can't do this. And marshmallows, like people eating marshmallows. And of course, the people doing these videos are just totally wild, you know, they do the fingernail tapping and their fingernails have gems on them. I'm like, this is really going all out. Like, holy cow. This is really going all out. Like, wow. But yeah, they got really into that stuff for a while. But we watch the ASMR, like the jokes. Thank you. Yeah, Amy said she was doing her spring and summer journal, and I was like, yes. I think I'm going to do it as a 2-season though, because when I do my fall journal or my Christmas journal, I tend to get too carried away with just doing that because I feel like I have to do everything on this time limit. So if I don't give myself a time limit, and then if I make it a spring/summer, or, you know, maybe like a, I don't know what I would call it, my sunny day journal, you know, my sunny weather journal, I can still do that any time of year. But in my mind, it is a summer, you know, it's a spring, summer theme, you know, but you could do that anytime. Just telling you how my weird brain works. This is another one of Vera's Painty papers, so I'm going to put a big pretty flower on it for her. She's probably going to be so mad. It's funny because I'll do these things for her, right, on her Painty papers, and she'll be like, oh, that looks ugly. Like, child. You know, one time, who was I talking to when I told them about Vera's Painty papers, and she said, do you want to sell them? I was like, yeah, I'll sell them. I'm like, how much do you want to sell them for? She's like, oh, maybe $10 a piece. I'm like, okay. I mean, you know, she's 7, so. But, you know, we do explain the concept of money to her. She's starting to get it, that you can't sell one sheet of Painty paper for $10. Oh, yes, a lot of foreign language. Do you have, like, are there subtitles to your foreign cooking videos? Oh, that's it. That's my last page. That's my last page. We're going to have to go through them and see what else they need, just in case. I mean, I'm going to doodle and stuff. Like, I don't have my pastels, but I do use my paint pens and my oil pastels, and I make little X's and dots and lines and swirls and whatever. Yeah, she has to do the next layer. You can't charge $40 for it until you got all the layers done. Got this. And this. Let's go this way. This. I could put something up here in the corner of hers, but I'll leave it in case she wants to. I don't think... you could probably glue on oil pastels, because you could probably glue on them, yes. But it might just take a little bit more. You might have to do like, glue it down once, and then if it doesn't stick, do it again. Because I have that issue sometimes even on paint, where I have to glue it a little extra. Put something else on this one. Let's see what we could put. Oh, I don't want to use, I'm not putting anything on this one. I have the rest of this black paint I want to use, so I gotta find a place. We have to find a place. We could do something on this one with the black paint. We could do, no, I'm not gonna do anything on those. So again, I had a lot of people on TikTok asking me about what I do for what I use for my Painty papers. They're all repurposed pages. Homework, cookbook pages, book pages, magazine pages. As you can see, I was doing kids' book covers. So that's going to be fun. I can make a nice little soft cover journal with those. I could put something black on that one. This could use, nah, because those leaves are really busy. But when I do the pastels on the pages, I do a little bit like in this corner, okay? Or, you know, I'll do like a little line of swirls. I don't cover the whole sheet. I just embellish a little. This is a kid's book cover. I love how that is. I didn't think it was going to look nice. I didn't think it was going to work out well because of the glossiness, but I kind of like the stripy looking thing. This is another kid's book cover that could use some lighter colors. So we're going to put that one aside. This could use something other than like these whites. I like this one. I like this one. I like this one. Man, you can't go wrong with painty papers. You just really can't. Yeah, a matte medium will probably work. I use Aleene's on just about everything, and Aleene's pretty much sticks anything to anything. I haven't had any bad luck with Aleene's, and I imagine that you could probably use the Aleene's if it's got oil pastel. You know, I'm sure if you took oil pastel and you just colored in very heavily the page, you probably couldn't get glue to stick to that. But if you doodle or add a couple little drawings or something, and I'm sure it'll glue to that. As long as probably as long as it has something else to bind to, like if you have a little bit of plain paper or just paint underneath it, it'll probably work pretty good for that. Vera May made some painting papers, and I put some stenciling on them, so hopefully she doesn't get mad. I think she's going to get mad.
What's that one? Your old one?
Yeah, that's the old one. It doesn't work really at all. That's why I have it like that, and I have to keep it plugged in. I watch the battery just like go down. I'm not going to use this one. So Vera May will probably be mad that I did that to her painting papers, but just trying to help.
Well, if she's mad at you, you deserve it.
I know. It's just funny though, because she'll say, "Oh, I don't like that," you know. I say, "I tried to make it pretty for you." She's like, "Oh,
one thing you can't do.
That's ugly."
One thing you can't do is expect her to not tell you exactly what she's thinking. If
No.
you don't want to hear it, you don't ask the question.
No. And another thing that you can't expect her to do is ever agree with you. If she
No.
didn't think of it, it's wrong.
Yep.
She's going to say, "What color should I use, pink or purple?" I'll say, "I think you should use pink." "I think I'm going to use purple."
Yep. She was just being polite, including you in the conversation.
Yeah, she doesn't.
She really didn't care what you had.
She wanted to know what you thought so she could pick the opposite thing on purpose. What are you doing?
Going out in the tea trailer line.
I'm just wondering so that, you know, if I have an emergency, I know where to come get you. Or if you have an emergency, I know which part of the yard to ignore.
I know.
They do make nice flowers, and I do that. I take them and some of them, like if I don't have anything on it that I want to use for something else, I'll make them into a flower. This is the first time I've done the soft cover, though, the kids' book covers, so I'm really liking the soft cover book thing, you know, so I'll definitely save my soft covers, because, you know, I get a lot of them. When I harvest kids' books, I do a ton of them at once. So it'll be nice to do to be able to do something with those instead of throwing them out. I really like how that comes out. And then you have a lot of options because it's a big, wide piece of painty paper, you know. And some of those book covers are huge. I mean, you can get some big kids' books. And the book covers would make great flowers because they're heavy duty. You know, they're heavier than a cardstock. They're not as heavy as a book board, you know. So they're like a good heavy duty paper. They would make nice little embellishments. Or charms, tags, you know, they would work nicely for that. So, yes. This has crayon on it, and I didn't know how it would work because I've done them before where I used crayon, but I do like how the crayon took some of the paint color that I had on there. See how well this little bit of black shows up on here. Or I might just use try something a little bit. It showed up a little bit. It adds to the background. I might do something in, oh, what will show up? This will definitely show up, but I don't want to unseal it. I don't want to, maybe the Anita's purple will show up. Let's see. Let's see. It'll show up. It'll show up good enough. It's not like amazing, but you know. like okay-ish. You know? It just adds some little different color to that thing right there. Calm down. Paper. My paper is trying to attack me. What else could I do to this one? Because it didn't really come out right with the way I sponged that on there. If I did some swirls, maybe? Some dark colored swirls? I did them exactly like I had them, exactly like they were.
Last year?
No, the way I had them on there the other day.
I don't know which way that was.
I did everything in black and white there. Oh, that purple does look good on there. And then this cover needs a little bit of something. Needs something to stand out. Ooh, yes, Tracy makes some very nice stuff. She makes some very pretty things. Go and follow her.
So same as last year?
No income.
Same as last year.
This looks nice, but I still need something loud on this one here. This isn't loud enough. I'm going to need to find something loud. Or I could leave it like that and then do the loudness when it comes time to use it, you know. But yeah, here's the ones I just finished. And I just went through all the ones that I had. Oh, hold on, I gotta clean off my palette here. Scrape this off. Shelly, I was saying earlier that yesterday, when Vera was helping me do painty papers, I knew she was all done when she started taking paints and painting my palette. She would put paint in there and spread it around, and like she was using my color shift paints, which are bougie. Those are my bougie paints. You cannot use the bougie paints, you know, for nonsense. I know, and I have neons, but even the neons are really translucent. Let me see. Let me see if I could get one of the neons to work like I want it to. Let me find my neon pink one. Oh, well, this one is a Martha. So I imagine that this one will show up.
This we don't know, but the other way would have been definitely. So we're in the same boat. Right.
Yeah. Hold your breath and wait.
That's all right. We do the other one tomorrow?
For what? Yeah. And get it all sent over.
We'll hand deliver that.
Okay. Let's see how the neons look. Let's see. It's not super translucent. I might have to mix in some white, maybe? Yep, he's from Massachusetts. That's where we hail from. The only difference is that I pronounce my R's. I pronounce my R's. I do not park my car. There's no parking in my life. That was too juicy on there. I'm going to put a little bit of white in with that pink. Yes, you are hearing Boston. You're hearing Boston. He's from Boston. We're from Central Mass. But you know, the accent spreads from Boston up into Maine, down into Rhode Island. Believe it or not, the accent is heavier, I think, in Rhode Island than in Boston. I know, but you don't do ours because you're from another country. He doesn't do ours because he's like Whitey Bulger, you know. Let's see. Get out of there, chunk of paint. It was funny. It was fun living in Massachusetts when the Whitey Bulger stuff was going on, because like the last, 20 years of trying to find him was funny because they talked about him on the news all the time. The white looks good, see? The whitey looks good. See what I did there? See what I did there? Hilarious. Just cracked myself right up. I just find it funny that he has this strong New England accent, and he understands people down here perfectly. And I don't have an accent, and I hardly understand people down here. I understand most of them, but there's some that it's just really thick. I mean, really, really thick. And then people from Massachusetts, too, they put R's where they don't belong, like pizza and soda. And I saw it. I saw it over there, Yeah, I saw it. Where's your sweatshirt? I saw it over there, All right, so this works. You just got to mix white with a color to take away the translucency. But y'all, I'm going to go in and I'm going to get something to eat. Wow, I've already been on for almost 2 hours. You guys have been putting up with me for a long time. I'm going to go get something to eat. Hopefully I can do this again. Hopefully my internet will cooperate, sometime in the future, and we can party like this again, because this is fun. I like doing this. And maybe I'll do something boring, Maybe we'll do a boring craft together. We'll take apart books, See how much you enjoy that. No, I'm just kidding. But I love you. I love you all. Ta-ta for now.